So for the second part of deeper hips, we start in Malasana. So if you need blocks underneath your heels for Malasana, you can support here underneath your heels if your heels don't quite drop down. If your heels drop, you release down into your heels. You might rock a little bit as you settle into Malasana. Bit of support underneath your heels if you need to. Rock a bit side to side. Find the right place. You can bring your hands to prayer position. Use your elbows just to press your thighs wider. Close your eyes again and drop back into your breath, that rhythm. Long inhale and long exhale. And try and feel that you release all the way down towards your tail with your exhales. Release across your lower back, your sacrum. You release into your hips, you unlock your hips here. So for one more minute. Regulate your breath. You're still rinsing away, clearing your mind space each time you exhale. When you're ready from here, we come into the dragon pose, a lunge pose. We're going to keep the left foot forward and step the right foot back. Now you can keep the turn out. Can you see here in the left foot? So if you want to be a little bit wider, turn the toes out some. That's okay. So you've got that bit of opening through your inner leg line. You can support on your hands, or you can drop down onto your forearms, or you can find somewhere in between, maybe by using your blocks. So the weight of the pelvis moves forward and downward with each exhale. You can drop your head down and you feel the interplay, the connection between your head and your pelvis. Stay for 5 more. More. We're coming slowly up. And the transition from here is into Pigeon Pose. So you're walking the left foot across your mat and over towards the right side. And then you're releasing all the way down and into Pigeon Pose. Now, the more open the knee, the stronger you'll feel the stretch in your hip. So you might want to bring the foot in, tuck in a bit closer. For full posture, full Pigeon Pose or Swan Pose, you're keeping your pelvis square to the ground. Your right leg is straight, stretching out behind you. You might want to tuck your toes under just to help you find your alignment as you come into this. And we're going to surrender all the way down and into Pigeon Pose. So I'm going to give you a couple of variations here because this is a strong posture. We certainly don't want to feel any stress in the knee. So in the left knee, this is where we want to be very careful. If this is too much, you're going to drop over onto your left hip, bend your right leg, and then fold forward kind of over your left foot. This is a slightly easier, bit less stress on the knee. It's a nice version though. I like this posture. So you can take this, or you can take the stronger version, and moving this foot forward if you want more will bring more opening into the outer hip there. So you find your place. And we stay for at least another 5 breaths. And you release the weight of the head, we breathe into the back. Inhales. Long exhales. 2 more. Your own time, and come slowly up. And if you feel you want to take longer in any of these postures, you just go on ahead. You can pause me. We're coming from here and into the foundation of Matsyendrasana. So you're sweeping your right leg over your left leg. The sole of your right foot is flat to the floor. and we try and drop down into both sit bones. Now, if you feel that you're not able to drop into your right sit bone here, use a block underneath both. Don't prop up that right side because you're just supporting your misalignment. You put the block under both sides, so you elevate the whole seat, and you'll maybe find then, oh, that's better. You'll maybe find then that you can drop down into that right hip. You can lengthen your spine, and again, you want to feel the grounding force, the apanave, the releasing into the ground as you exhale, and that rising energy as you inhale. If you want to take this further for more opening into your outer right hip, you can bring your right foot onto the outer edge of the right foot. Wiggle a little bit. You're coming into Svumokhasana, or shoelace pose. With or without a block, spine lengthens. Yield on your exhale. Now make sure that you're not gathering tension in your upper back, in your chest or your shoulders. If we feel intensity in this posture, in the hips and the pelvis, we tend to tense into the upper body and almost try and lift out of the intensity, out of the stress of the pose. Try rather than lifting out of it, just to give to it, to yield, to release into it, to soften. Relax the shoulders and the jaw, neck, upper back. For 5 more breaths. We do those postures again and to the other side. So start with a moment or two again in Malasana. If you feel you need to just mobilize or stir or rock your hips first, it's fine. When you're ready, you bring yourself up and into your squat pose. You can rock or waddle a little bit into your squat, drop your heels down, use your blocks underneath your heels if you need to. Your hands come in front of your heart. Take a long inhale. Long exhale. You can use your up arms against your inner thighs to encourage your hips to open. And settle and breathe. When we give some time and some patience to this type of practice, we can potentially release really deep pockets of long held tension, resistance in there, in the body. You have to just give it your breath and some time to unlock. So take 5 more breaths in. Really be willing to feel those kind of dull, tight areas. Unresponsive areas in your body. Feel into those, breathe into those dull spots and spaces. When you're ready, you can step out and into your lunge. So this time you're keeping your right foot forward and you're stepping your left leg back. You come out as long as you can, and you know you can take that turn out with your right foot, so you can come off the mat if you want to, turn the toes out a few degrees. You can stay up and on your hands. You can drop all the way down onto your forearms, or you can find that halfway and you can use some support, maybe some blocks underneath your forearms. So again, you let your head drop so you can feel the connection, the interplay between your head and your pelvis all the way through your spine, all the way through your back, your posterior side. It's a long breath. You try and take your inhalation all the way down towards your pelvis. Feel yourself sinking downward and forward as you exhale. And when you come out of the pose, you come slowly out. You set your blocks off to one side. And you walk your right foot across towards the left side of your mat. You're coming into your pigeon pose. So we release the right knee down. And you stretch your left leg back. So you might keep those toes tucked under as you align it really helps us to align the pelvis if we have those toes tucked under, and you fold or you release, you surrender all the way down into your pigeon pose. Remember your variations. So for easier, we're dropping more over onto the outer right hip and bending the left leg. The fold will then be kind of to the to the centre, sort of over your right foot. If you go a bit further over to the left, you'll feel more into the hip. So you can find the right place for you, the right intensity for you. If you want a stronger opening, you simply move your right foot a bit further forward, and that's going to be stronger into your hip. So you check in with your knee. If your knee feels vulnerable, you take the easier, the lighter option. If it feels okay, you release here, and we take at least another 5 breaths. The head hangs again. Try not to bunch up or gather tension in your shoulders. So in each posture, we find a little period of internalization. A retreat into our own precious, quiet space. You soften all the way through your exhales. When you're ready, you very slowly ease your way out of the posture. You bring your left leg around and you cross your left over your right. So you're looking for Matsyendrasana again. If you used a block on the first side, use block again to help you even your pelvis, your sit bones. Sole of your left foot is on the floor. You drop down into your seat, into your sit bones. You let your spine lengthen, your shoulders relax, and you breathe here. You can bring your left leg further over your right leg for a deeper opening. So you might want to lift and rock or wiggle. And again, you need to really check for that tension that we bring into the upper body to lift us out of any intensity that we feel in the posture. It can end up looking a little bit rigid. So you soften your shoulders. You send with your exhale your energy down through your spine and into your pelvis and into your hips. So your knees are roughly stacked, one over the other. You can bring your hands onto your body, connect to your breath, or you can have your fingertips on the floor beside you, wherever you feel comfortable. Here, this is nice, you connect to your breath. Here, you can maybe just let the tension slide down away from your shoulders. Slide all the way down your arms and towards your fingertips. So at least 5 more breaths. When you're ready, come out of the pose really slowly. You might need to rock your legs side to side with the energy again. And we'll bring ourselves finally into Baddha Konasana. So bringing the soles of your feet together. You might use a block underneath the back of your seat or your pelvis. So sometimes a little bit of support there can be really helpful. The soles of your feet are together. Now, if you want to make this posture easier, slide your feet further forward. So the posture is longer. This is going to be by far easier for most of us. Or you can keep the feet in nice and close, stronger variation. So of these 3 hip practices, we've been using this posture as a marker, if you like, to see how we feel at the end of each practice. So just for a moment or two, again, sit in Baddha Konasana, let the hips release and see how you feel. If you feel inclined to come forward in your Baddha Konasana, you can. We just take maybe another 4 or 5 breaths here. In your forward fold or your Baddha Konasana, wherever you feel you want to be. You can certainly stay here for longer. When you feel that you're ready, you can bring the knees in towards each other. You might just want to hug. And take a moment, you just let the sensations subside around your hips. And then you can take yourself down for some relaxation. So maybe a blanket under the back of your head. You might want a bolster under the backs of your legs. If you feel you need to hug your knees in or stir into your hips, you can go ahead and do whatever you need to do. You'll certainly feel space and energy in your hips, your pelvis, your legs from this practice. So each inhalation, you notice the qualities, the space, expansion, the way the energy moves as you inhale. As you exhale, and you notice the qualities, the way you soften, let go, release. The way the energy moves, the grounding that accompanies your exhale. And we just allow the awareness here to drift along the thread of the breath. You know you can stay here for longer. If you feel that you're ready, go slowly. You take a deeper breath. You maybe sigh away. You might stretch your arms, your legs. You might just want to hug your knees in towards you. Maybe circle again the hips. Stir. You can roll yourself up to sitting, or you can roll over onto your side to come up. Find your Sukhasana again. You drop into your seat. Let your spine lengthen. And again, you inhale. And you exhale. Your hands come in front of your heart. You take a bow forward. Thank your body for your practice. Slowly up. Namaste. Thank you. It's like a real class with the little snores in Shavasana. That was nice. I can show you. I'll show you the gang. There. Zaki. Are you relaxed, Zaki? There is Usa. Relaxed, Usa? Did it do it for you? This is Desi. I'm sorry, Desi. Did I wake you up? Gino.